I'd like to introduce to you the Marketing Director of Mobility Goes Additive. Experienced in business-to-business marketing and project manager with a demonstrated history in the transportation, trucking, railroad, and travel industry. She has a strong administrative professional with a master's degree in business management. Please, with a nice warm round of applause, welcome to the stage, Susanne Merten.
Yeah. Thank you. Right, welcome, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. Who doesn't know that feeling? This feeling of, where do I start? We're in digitalization, we hear about Internet of Things, software as a service, and any other things that we are confronted with. And 3D printing is one area, also additive manufacturing. But when you really want to start from scratch as a user, where do you start? I've been asked to give some examples from the railway section, especially I will focus my examples on Deutsche Bahn examples. Deutsche Bahn has been a founding member of Mobility Goes Additive, which I'm representing today. And obviously it's the best way that I present what has been the core and the source of the whole network. Deutsche Bahn was looking for partners that and benchmark to learn from. They didn't have any real experience with additive manufacturing, and they looked into automotive segment, but found out that there was a lot about bionic structures, really nice, fancy shapes and structures, but apparently a lot of prototyping. This is not what Deutsche Bahn wanted to do, right? They wanted to have something for serious production. So then they investigated on aviation. Is there a network? Is there partners that we can deal with? And you have all those brackets. Maybe that's also metal parts. So maybe that's a good way. But a lot of lightweight. And often rail is different, very different. And then you still have this dream. This is a metro from Dubai. This is a palm handle tree. And this is 3D printed. This is what you really want to see on the trains. So we had to change something. Something had to happen. And it's still something different if you face this. If you look at your assets, this is what it truly is. You have tradition, you have not all of our vehicles, not all of Deutsche Bahn vehicles look like that. We have 50-year-old structures sometimes rolling on stock. However, there's also infrastructure, installations, railway stations, we have cargo, we have real estate. Like in Deutsche Bahn, there is a lot that you have to think of. And then there is this big driver, reliability, punctuality. This is what we are being measured on, or what Deutsche Bahn is being measured on. So, and a big stock house. This is the warehouse of Deutsche Bahn, and they have stocks up to 600 million euros per year. Imagine the cash flow. Imagine what you could do if you only had solutions with additive manufacturing for 2% or 5% of it. That really would change a lot. So, and then Deutsche Bahn thought, well, this technology is still too interesting, too promising. I'm going to skip that. This is the technologies that you would need in order to, basically cover the needs that you have in Deutsche Bahn. You need it for flame retardant materials. You would need SLS due to a better porosity and better density of all the materials and parts. Then you have multi-jet fusion, which is a great technology promising very cost-efficient ways of manufacturing. And then there is DED. Often you have very big metal parts. How are you going to produce those? So I run over those because time is slipping away. This is how it all started. This is a coat hanger the first piece that Deutsche Bahn printed, a simple PA parrot, PA12 parrot. Some other parrots, like this one, this is a sand staircase housing. I'm going to explain that over at our booth or at our exhibition later. And this is the most recent part, the newest part that Deutsche Bahn has initiated or printed, additively manufacturing a secondary roll stop, meaning that it prevents the trains from leaning too much into the curve, so it avoids accidents. By this, obviously it's a safety relevant part, and this is what you really want to do. You want to create economical value. And unless you do this, additive manufacturing is still a lot of trying to do things, and a lot of question marks are around. So how is this built? This is how it looks like when it comes out of the machine, fairly rare part, and then it's being post-processed, a 17 kilogram heavy stainless steel parrot produced with direct energy deposition. Oh, it's been tested like that. It doesn't work, unfortunately. Now, Europe is best when it comes to approved parts. Wherever you have very highly regulated industries, this is what we really can do. There is no fear from Asia at that point right now. No one can actually scratch that so far. And there will be a big change in logistics, obviously, because you will have a net that you need supporters, you need companions that will help. Additive manufacturing would change a lot. And it would change a lot in our common ways of how we handle our normal business in the industry. This is the dream. We need reproducibility, we need reliability for additive manufacturing, and we need to have the trust, and people need to trust our solutions. If we manage to do that, then additive manufacturing will be a full success. Now, there's a lot of things that still have to happen until we get there. And I'm here for Mobility Goes Additive. It's still called Mobility Goes Additive. We're about to change since we also started out with a new division in Medical Goes Additive. So we are now MGA. We are one network with 2 divisions and more than 1,000 opportunities. We push all the efforts through our working groups. So whenever there is a problem in one of those topics, then we settle it into the working groups and we push it with all the experts that we have. We have by now more than 100 companies that have joined our network, and we only started out in 2016. So it's 3 years. Just to give you some insights on some of the working groups, this is the working group approval inside mobility. There is a separate working group for approval in medical. My colleague Cora will have a presentation tomorrow, so if you're also keen on learning about medical and what we do in the medical section, then you're invited to join her session tomorrow. For approval in mobility, this is how we actually do it. We bring forces together. If you do it alone, it's a long way. And it's a lot of pitfalls on the way. So maybe there's pitfalls that you don't have to overcome, that you don't have to be confronted with. So in this case, this has been a joint effort in pushing things forward. Also, TÜV Süd was a lot involved in that. And this has been the first part that in such a setup, in a joint setup, has been pushed through all the approval and regulatory authorities. Reliability, we have one working group that only concentrates, it's only train OEMs that really concentrate on how additive manufacturing in their worlds can actually help. If you don't have the users that are going to buy your solutions or your machines or whatsoever, you will have a business trouble at some stage. There will not be any more scaling up. So reliability actually looked at the first key takeaways and investigated where are the areas where we really need to get traction on. And you see the members at the side, so it's really the who is who. Renfe is not represented. If anyone's there from Renfe, then you're happy to join us. And then we have change management, a working group that meanwhile has been closed. And why is that? We've done a book. And this is basically the result of all the work that has been done in the working group. You may scan it if you're interested in buying. It's available on Amazon. It contains all the findings and nice tips if you're a user and if you want to tackle additive manufacturing. There's a lot of experience in there in this book, how to drive it and how to maybe go the right way. And then we have the big group of materials, the biggest group that we have as a working group, split up in 6 focus groups even. And they do joint round-robin testing, fatigue testing. Very expensive tests in a joint force are less expensive. They do papers and they have a lot of topics, just to give you an insight on that. This is our network, more than 100 companies represented, users, manufacturers, materials, and this is me. So, yes, I'm happy to answer, and this is how we boost CM. I hope I had some good opportunities to show you what we do and how we push, and if joint forces can help, you're happy to join us and push the market forward. Thank you.